Okay, so first off, thanks very much for coming. Pleasure to be here finally. I've been here to this building a few times before. It's a very, very cool space, so nice to be back here with all of you guys. Ignore this picture here because it's from an old talk and it's not important. It was important at the time, but I'll tell you about it another time. But what is important is keys to a successful art career. Perseverance, innovation, and risk-taking contacts community. So a while back, I was talking to a big collector in the space, and he was asking me, he was having like a video call, he said, like, what do you feel brought you the success that you've achieved to bring you to this space here to talk to you guys? And I was thinking about it while we were chatting, and my conclusion were these 4 points. I'm sure there's lots of other points you can make. There's no one direction for a successful art career. They're just very hard to find. But yeah, these all came in very handy for me. So I wanted to talk a little bit about my journey in the space, and beginning with persevere. So I came to Scotland from fresh off the boat from Canada about 25 years ago, and actually I've been traveling around the world backpacking for a few years, and ended up in Scotland by chance. Ended up falling in love with it. The weather is amazing, and decided I was going to stay. So I was working in hospitality for a few years. That's how I was traveling around the world. And yeah, I love the place, but all good things must come to an end. I ended up having an early midlife crisis. I was in my early 30s and hit a crossroads. Ended up becoming terribly depressed. I was on antidepressants, and I'd never experienced anything like this before in my life. It was a horrible, horrible, dark period. And for some reason I thought art will save me. Art will bring me the answers to those big questions I'm looking for. So it was a very strange thing, because I hadn't picked up a pencil or paintbrush since I was a teenager in high school, but I decided I was going to become an artist. And what happened, well, also during this time of deep depression, I was living in Leith, and I saw these signs all over the place, persevere, and they actually gave me some hope. I'm going to get my Iron Brew. So yeah, I'll go back there. I ended up going to Leith School of Art. I did a foundation year there. I essentially cried my way in because I had no portfolio, and for some reason they let me in. I did the foundation year there, and to my surprise, the next year I applied to Edinburgh College of Art at Edinburgh University, did a 5-year MA, and they let me in too for some reason. I have no idea why. I wasn't the best artist. I wasn't the most knowledgeable. I was already in my 30s, so I was about 15 years older than all the other students. They called me Grandpa Jones back in first year college. And the only thing I really felt that I had going for me was work ethic and discipline and motivation. I mean, time was not on my side. So there was I knew that I had to push the boundaries. I had to really kind of take risks with what I was doing. I wasn't going to spend the next 15 years working at Starbucks as a coffee maker, but ended up graduating, and my first 2 solo shows were in mid-sized galleries here in Edinburgh. I was quite fortunate. I did actually get some solo shows set up, and this was the one at Leith Gallery. I think it was 2011, and it was both of them were actually very successful. Sold probably 80% of the paintings, but that also brought me to the conclusion that it's almost impossible to make money as an artist, because even after having these successful sellout shows, I essentially made enough to, well, the gallery takes 45 to 50% commission. I pay for all the framing, I pay for all the materials, my studio costs, overhead. So at the end of the day, after a successful show, I made probably about £7,000, which basically paid my bills and set me up for another year of, which is also why most artists work 2 to 3 jobs. And I was working at an arts charity, art healthcare. I was teaching part-time. I was running an Airbnb, a spare room in a flat. So all those things to basically pay for a very expensive habit of painting. I realized that I needed to, again, at that point, really innovate, set myself apart from everybody else, really kind of, like I said, push the boundaries. So before this exhibition happened, just before, I started to see these little QR codes around on packaging and labels. So that was like early 2011. And I thought to myself, well, first of all, what are these things? I mean, it was early days, and mobile phones, like smartphones, were really just really coming out at that point as ubiquitous. And you could download an app and you could scan a QR code. And I thought, these are cool. I can actually use these to promote my exhibition. So I posted all these postcards, the exhibition, with QR code to my website, throwing them everywhere, loading in buses, park benches, whatever. I mean, I just throw it everywhere. I thought, like, somebody's gonna scan this. I don't even know if anybody scanned them. But at the end of the day, I was thinking, like, before the show even opened up, I wonder if I could actually paint QR codes and that these could link to something online. So I started to, I spent the next year, 2012, with a paintbrush in one hand and a phone in the other, learning how to, paint QR codes that were scannable. And I was introduced 25 to 30% error correction in the code, which you could do when you generate these codes, which actually enabled me to create quite interesting QR codes. They looked like QR codes, but they still looked like paintings. They were thick and pastel paint. I did see some people around online who were painting QR codes, but it was just black and white QR code, straight edges. And I wanted something more painterly. And also these artists were creating something that was just, I call it like a dead end. It linked to maybe a piece of poetry, which is quite nice, or just their website. And so I met my friend David Oxley there, who's the tech genius. He was actually working for the arts charity I was working for as the web designer and the art content management system. And I said, I would like to build a website that became an online gallery that any artist in the world could upload their own artwork to. They could then add their contact details, information about the artwork, that people could comment through socials on it. So David built that for me. And at the time, nobody in the world was doing anything like this. I'm thinking, like, holy crap, I'm a genius. I'm gonna be rich and famous. Galleries around the world are gonna be like knocking on my door going like, Trevor, we want you in New York or Japan, Tokyo. So I spent that year. I then started to kind of try to market these QR code paintings. Went to the Royal Scottish Academy, Visual Arts Scotland, Edinburgh Arts Fair, trying to show them online exhibitions, and literally nobody was interested in them. There was like a complete, absolute failure. And I was confused and frustrated, devastated. This is one of the pages from the homepage of the website that we built. You can see some other people's artwork on there. It's a really bad picture from back in the day, and I could find online. I don't even know where the original picture is. But yeah, it was a disaster, but I persevered. And the next year, I said to myself, like, there is definitely something to do with, here happening with technology. The world is only becoming more digital. Everybody has phones. Everybody's like engaging with the world around them through technology, through their phones. So I stumbled upon augmented reality in 2013. So again, way before Pokemon Go and anybody even knew what AR was. And I thought, like, okay, this is it now. Like, I can get away from painting QR codes. I can literally paint whatever I want. That painting becomes a target image. I can overlay digital content on that through an AR app. Again, went to David Oxley, who helped me with all the tech stuff because I'm just a dumb artist. But we built an app. We actually were using another app first called Layer, and then Mataio. Both of them we either priced me out or were bought up by Apple, so we ended up building my own AR app. And now I'm thinking, okay, I'm gonna have the most amazing exhibition, and this exhibition is gonna be rich and famous. And I had this exhibition. Well, this is the storytelling website. So yeah, this is very cool. I painted these paintings. You could scan them. They animated. So I worked with an animator, and the figures came to life. You could actually click on the figures. Each one was kind of dancing. There's music, and it took you to the storytelling website, where you could then upload or write your own stories or comments about the characters. Other people could comment on it or add to it. So really telling stories around artwork and building community around artwork through a digital universe that we engage with through a phone, then websites. And again, I'm thinking like, this is phenomenal. Nobody's doing anything like this, and nobody cared. I tried everything possible to get these artworks out, and I was devastated. So I went back to my studio, absolutely crushed morally and emotionally, and I went online to Amazon and I bought a whole bunch of dinosaurs, and I placed them around my studio as a way of kind of consoling myself that I'm living in a world of dinosaurs, and the art institutions, the art world is filled with a bunch of dinosaurs. And I said to myself, I'm going to crack this code, but right now my dinosaurs will console me. I still have them in my studio, actually. By then I was pissed off. So 2014, I submitted my work again, AR work, to the Royal Scottish Academy Open Exhibition. And again, I was rejected. This is like third year in a row for my tech paintings. I'm not going to say how, but I snuck into the RSA the day before the Open Exhibition Gala event, and I photographed all the artwork on the walls that wasn't mine. I had no artwork up there. And I went home and I madly augmented all the work there to be my paintings and my drawings. So you could go in, had my app. I did have an invitation, RSA open invitation, and I went to a print shop on Leith Walk, and funnily enough, they actually copied them all. I counterfeited 25 of these RSA Open Gala event exhibition invitations. I invited 25 friends, they all had my app, and we walked around the event scanning all the artwork, and it was all mine on the walls. So, but through the phone, through augmented reality, and then we were also filming it and seeing the reactions of the artists and people there, looking at. They had no idea what was going on. Like, they're looking at the iPads and phones and seeing it's like my artwork everywhere in the frames. Had a few nasty messages from emails from certain artists that I won't name. President of Visual Arts Scotland was one of them. And saying like, interesting tech, Trev, but I don't appreciate and approve of you augmenting my work and turning it into yours. Anyway, I thought I was going to go to jail. I didn't. It was, again, very early days. I didn't know what the legal aspects of basically hijacking the Royal Scottish Academy. Next year, I had an exhibition called Edinburgh Hacked. And by this time, commercial galleries weren't interested in showing my work at all. So I started to hire my own gallery spaces, organize my own exhibitions, invite all my friends. Luckily, I had a few friends with jobs who felt sorry for me and bought a couple paintings to keep me going through these harsh times. But it was challenging, but interesting. Again, working with David, we had an EEG headset where people could actually look at my artwork on a screen, and we would then gather information about their emotional responses to my work and then give them reports. So, I mean, it wasn't overly scientific, but it was quite a cool thing. Again, nothing had really been done, as far as I know, in Scotland to do that, although David actually was just in Italy working with some artists just this last summer, and they were doing stuff like this. So this was like 8 years ago we were doing it. Nobody cared though. I then had my Hail Mary exhibition, 2016, was on the run up to the presidential election, and I painted 10 portraits of world leaders made with rubbish, garbage I found on the streets of Leith and oil paint, and you could scan them, and I put together these videos of basically these politicians talking rubbish, and they got some good publicity. And interestingly, one collector bought the entire set of paintings, so I was surprised because I expected nobody to buy the paintings, which is the story of my life, especially Trump and Hillary and Putin. Justin Trudeau's back there, but what that did was not only surprised me, but it gave me some money in the bank for the first time, and I ended up researching Bitcoin, and so I started investing in Bitcoin with my windfall in kind of mid 2017, June 2017. At the same time, that was the bull run. That was the beginning of the 2017 bull run. So all of a sudden, I'm starting to make money for the first time in my life with crypto, and I'm trading, shit coins, altcoins, and I'm thinking like, holy crap, I'm making money hand over fist. I can just paint whatever I want to paint now. And that's for what I do, but I actually make my living with trading coins, but I was a noob. I ended up, there was the inaugural Scottish Portrait Awards 2017, and they advertised that they're looking for the most innovative, exciting artists in Scotland. So I basically just did a massive email out to every single famous person I could think of. And funnily enough, 5 people got in touch with me, got back in touch with me, and I met up with Martin Wishart, the chef, Jordan Peterson, Katie Tunstall, Brian Cox, and Ian Rankin, and I met with all of them, and they sat for me, and I painted their portraits. This was going to be submitted to the Scottish Portrait Awards. They all gave me things that were relevant to them that then I embedded and collaged into the paintings themselves, and with NFC tags, I embedded NFC tags in. You could then take your phone, get up to this NFC tag, and then watch videos of them talking about these objects, what they mean to them. You could also stand back, scan the painting, and you could then access, trigger the interview of me talking to them or me painting them at the time. So again, super innovative. I thought, like, finally, now I've got some money in the bank. I'm not starving, broke. I've met some famous people. It's going to be this is my year as an artist. I submitted them all. All 5 were rejected. Not one. I didn't even make the final list at all. So again, there's Ian Rankin actually unveiling his portrait at the Edinburgh Arts Fair. I went back to my dinosaurs and cried. I thought, this is ridiculous. Not only that, but that was the end of 2017. 2018 hit, and that was the crypto bloodbath. And I found out that I was not a very good trader. Ended up losing all my money that I'd made, and so I spent like the next 6 months on my phone just checking, sleepless nights. My wife Violet down there was she was getting worried about me because I looked like complete crap. In my head, I'd thrown my whole life away. I lost everything. I'm still not making any money from paintings, but I persevered. And I continued to innovate, and by that time I was all in on an exhibition of crypto-themed artwork with augmented reality. So I hired the Industrial Gallery. I also went back to the galleries, the dinosaurs. I went to the National Portrait Gallery and augmented about 30 of the paintings, and you could then scan those paintings of Scottish kings and queens and philosophers and royalty, and then access the kind of the crypto royalty of the world, like McAfee and CZ at the time, and Brian Armstrong and Vitalik and so forth.
We were kicked out.
We were kicked out of the National Portrait Gallery. They didn't know what we were doing. It was me. That's how I felt at the exhibition. However, what happened, literally, before the show even started, I was posting my artwork online on Twitter, and people were engaging with it. I didn't realize there was no art market at that time, a crypto art market, and just randoms and all of people were messaging me saying how much for the painting, and I'm like, I don't know. It's so I just threw a crazy price tag on it. At the time, it's £5,000, which was huge money for me. And they said, okay, I'll pay you in Bitcoin. And it's this is, it blew my mind. I don't need a gallery anymore. I can actually create paintings, and there's people out there who want these tech-fueled, crypto-themed, augmented reality paintings, and they will pay me directly for them. And then I said, I have to put the exhibition on first, and then I'll send you the painting after. And they sent me the Bitcoin even beforehand. It was just the weirdest thing. I ended up selling out the entire exhibition. So I made my money back after losing it. I learned that I'm not a trader, I'm an artist. I don't trade anymore, I just stack sats. There's some of the shots from the exhibition opening. People engaging with the AR as well. With next exhibition was a crypto cubism, so that was two of my first big paintings that also became NFTs. So I got into NFTs in 2019. The one on the right, these are Picasso-inspired cubist paintings that have various iconography of crypto in modern iconography, and yeah, they ended up doing exceptionally well. I somehow managed to position myself in this new crypto art NFT space as a traditional artist, but who was also very much
exploring new technology. And basically at that time, all the artists in the space were digital artists. You know, and I also came from the traditional art background, from the academic background, from an art college. So I was, again, the odd one out, but they embraced me for some reason, and then having a phenomenal run. Started collaborating with great artists like this is Jose Delbo, who sadly passed away, the great legend, was one of the first DC comic book artists. And this was my Bitcoin Angel painting, which I painted in 2018 for the exhibition. But I did an open edition in February 2021, and that was kind of the height of the madness of this whole space. I ended up doing this open edition and offered it for $777 for an edition over a 7-minute period. And in 7 minutes, I ended up making $3.2 million, which completely blew my mind. And my wife and I were going like, this is just ridiculous. Like, what, you know, we had no idea what was going on. And the world just got weirder and weirder, and the space got weirder. I ended up doing a collaboration with Ice Cube, worked with him for 8 months on some paintings. He actually wrote tracks for these paintings. They were AI generated and kind of visually with his portraits, and then he wrote the tracks, and then I created the animations. You could scan the paintings, and then you could access the music and the videos behind them. So some very cool stuff. We just went down to London recently. The buyer of that had a big exhibition that showed that work there, and actually went to the Moco Gallery, which has like artwork by Banksy and Warhol, and you know, huge artists. And one of my artworks was, to my surprise, was actually in there at the Moco Gallery as well. So again, this is all completely surreal. I then was contacted by a big collector who wanted to commission me 2 large paintings. One for him and one for his good friend Elon Musk, which this one here is was a gift, a birthday present for Elon. So again, the world just went completely nuts. I ended up, I'll just go over time here, creating a whole series of paintings around those 2 paintings. This is the last one I've been working on, and the entire project is coming to an end now. And actually, coincidentally, just today, Christie's is showing one of the works, the NFTs from this series here. So it's just opened up. It'll be on for the next 2 weeks, which is very, very cool. Innovating, you know, I was continuing to try new things. Bronze cast sculptures, beautiful, working with amazing collaborators who have created 3D assets for me, and I did a PFP project. Also worked with David on this game. If you want to go to my website, play a really cool game called Dante's Pixel Inferno. It's got 9 levels of Fiat Hell, and you're basically fighting and killing crypto bros, and you know, going up against the final boss like Gary Gensler, who's not with us anymore. And that's the end. So yeah, I hopefully tried to kind of go through this whole process of the last 15 years of pain and agony and struggle of being an artist, but through these things, perseverance, a lot of crying, innovation, massive risk taking, and then building the contacts and community has brought me to here right now in front of you guys putting on this presentation. So I don't know if you'll be able to transfer that to whatever you guys do, unless you're artists, but hopefully you enjoyed the talk.